Okay, here with this special podcast episode. Today I'm going to be joined by my brother, Lucas.
Hello. And the platypuses will be joining us too.
And today we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 2. What a great season it was.
Yeah, it was better than Season 1.
Yeah, I definitely did. Because Season 1, I didn't really like... You missed the worst episode of this whole entire series.
I skipped a couple episodes.
The one that went to Tatooine in Season 5, in Episode 5 was horrible because it had no purpose to the show. I didn't really like that episode, but anyways, we're here to talk about Season 2 of The Mandalorian, which was a great season, and the finale was great as well. So what was your thoughts on the whole the season as a whole?
So the season was it was good. One episode I didn't like was Episode 2. It was very filler.
Yeah, it was more like to bridge the gap between because like Episode 1 and 3. It was kind of like it was almost as if they had no idea what to do to make it 8 episodes long, so they're just like, how do we bridge the gap between Episode 1 and Episode 3?
It was unnecessary. I feel like they could have just put that in the first... That wasn't even needed. Did they do anything to the plot other than introduce Mr. Kim?
Yeah, Mr. Kim. We watched
some of Kim's Convenience. I didn't really like it that much anymore.
It started out fun, and then like kind of the shtick wore off.
Yeah, it wasn't...
So, what did you think about the big reveal at the end of Season 2 with who showed up?
I mean, we could do spoilers.
Yeah,
spoiler.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker, and I'm actually named after Luke Skywalker.
Yes, So, what do you think?
I really liked it. I didn't think Luke would be in the show because I felt like they're sticking with smaller characters. But I didn't think it didn't go as much as something Disney would do, where they're like, let's make some money. They actually dealt with it in a way that actually made sense, and not just here's Luke Skywalker like Palpatine in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. And what also surprised me was that I thought it would be more logical to go Ezra because they were bringing in Rebels.
Well, no, because that's when they announced the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, after they announced the Ahsoka series, I was kind of like, maybe they'll go in that direction, maybe they won't. And then it was interesting with the Book of Boba Fett at the end. What do you think of what the Book of Boba Fett is going to be?
I think it could be Season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Maybe.
He doesn't agree.
Maybe. But I don't think...
I don't know. I don't have any ideas.
Maybe what they're doing is they're taking a break. Like, maybe they'll do 2022, they'll do Mandalorian season. Because if you're suggesting Boba Fett's Mandalorian Season 3, then you're suggesting Mandalorian's over.
No, I think they'd go back to it, but maybe take a little a break between it, like something big happens and there's a break, because it's based in the chapter system is based in.
And that's why it's called the book, because it's chapters.
Yeah, because it could be chapters. That could just be what they're doing with all Disney Plus shows, or it could be a sign that it's replacing Mandalorian as season 3.
I think it'll be interesting to see kind of their Arrowversifying.
Yeah, I watched some of the Arrowverse, but
I hope I'll cross my fingers that the crossovers are a billion times. Even if they're 50, if they're even 50% as good as if they're better if they're better than the Arrowverse crossovers. That's not even saying the crossovers of Star Wars is good, because the Arrowverse crossovers dropped the ball, I think.
But some of them are good. Most of them are. Look, we're fighting.
I think
an
it was
alien
more
or
fan
something.
Service than anything else. Those Arrowverse crossovers.
Yeah, those were.
But I think I'll predict twice. I don't think they're gonna do what they do in Arrowverse, where each episode is on a different show. What I think they'll do is they'll do a crossover on Mandalorian one, and then the next time is the crossover on Ahsoka.
They could do something cool, which is where they do different point of views on each show. I don't know what the chances of that, because that'd take a lot more production to record the same scene, but from different angles and from different point of views. Yeah, that would be cool, though, because I don't think we've seen many things like that in all of the everything.
But I think another interesting thing is, and I've never asked you this, what do you think? What do you think happened to Baby Yoda after this show?
Alright,
do you think... Here's the options, most likely. Kylo killed him. He became a Knight of Ren. Baby Knight of Ren.
Because if he was 50 during The Mandalorian, 25 years later, he'd be 75. He'd still be looking like this guy right here.
But Google a picture of the Knights of Ren. Google a picture of the Knights of Ren. See if there's anyone that looks tiny. I think it's like the K.
Well, no, they didn't think of this before.
Yeah, I know, but it would just be funny if they. I mean, Star Wars retcons. Oh, look, Google the back one. Ah, that's too
the back
big.
one? No,
I'm just kidding.
not.
Obviously, I most likely think he'll reunite with Mando. I think because Baby Yoda's what made it popular. Oh yeah, see if anybody speculates about on.
Alright, Knights of Ren Grogu.
Go to news. Go to news.
Wait 1 second. Let me go to images and see if there's anything that like a fan art or something of him being.
No, it doesn't look like.
I guess they don't really have any of that.
But I'm sure a lot of. No, he probably's not Knights Ren. I just thought it was a funny kind of.
Yeah.
But do you think? I think Mando would reunite with Baby Yoda. Do you think that he'll reunite with Baby Yoda?
Yeah, because I don't really think Disney will let there be another season without Grogu. He might not be a main character, but I don't think they'll let them do that.
Because when you think about that, Disney at the heart of it is a company, and what do companies need to do?
Money.
Make money, and there probably hasn't been as big of a money printer as Baby Yoda. Like
No, there has.
For obviously in recent memory, but
within the last couple of years.
I think Baby Yoda will dip in popularity if he's not in the show anymore, because people are like, why should I get Baby Yoda when he's done, when his story's done? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be about, you can agree that Season 1, Season 2 was about Baby Yoda.
People still bought Boba Fett toys when they didn't know if he was returning or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm saying people will still buy, but now it's you know how, buying, I don't know, buying Captain America, or buying Stormtrooper outfits were, probably very popular in, the 70s and 80s. People still buy, Stormtrooper costumes, but it's not as popular as, Mandalorian. Which do you think is more popular, a Stormtrooper costume or a Mandalorian costume?
Mandalorian, because that's what's relevant.
Yeah, so it's, what's relevant. So if Baby Yoda becomes unrelevant in this Star Wars universe, that'll be interesting. And I have another interesting question. Do you think Rogue Squadrons will tie into the Disney Plus shows?
So, I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a lot more on the Marvel side of things. Because with Star Wars, you could skip a lot and still understand. You could skip the prequels and the sequels and still understand the original trilogy, mostly. You can skip all the shows and understand all the current movies. I don't know if Star Wars is going to do that. And I think they're trying to do that more, because sometimes in recent media with Star Wars, you have to watch the other things. Like The Mandalorian, you have to know a lot about the Clone Wars and Rebels to understand a lot of the stuff. And I think what they're trying to do is now Disney's like, all right, we got the Skywalker saga done. Let's do more casual, random stuff. That might be what.
Now, I think it is very, and see if you agree with me. I think it's very, very likely that Ezra will show up in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, that's what they're setting up at the end of Rebels, which takes place after the Mandalorian.
Yeah, we don't really know, because Dave Filoni, the creator of Rebels, a couple of weeks ago came out with a weird statement. I think he's doing this on purpose because of the Ahsoka show. They want to keep it a mystery. But he came out a few weeks ago, because someone asked him, when does the final scene of Rebels take place? And he was like, it could take place before Mandalorian. It could take place afterwards. I definitely think it takes place after, because why would she still be looking for Thrawn? The only reason why I could see she's looking for Thrawn is because she's trying to get to Ezra. What do you think about that?
I mean, it could be, but then why wasn't Sabine with her on that planet?
Well, I was thinking maybe why Sabine wouldn't be on there is because
that didn't happen yet.
Because, that maybe they didn't happen, but maybe also another reason why could be Sabine's looking at a different place. What if, to be more efficient, it would be, let's not, I'm sure Ahsoka is smart. She wouldn't be let's look together. Maybe the thought process.
It could easily have taken place before. When you think about it, there's no reason for why
Ahsoka looked like she was, really old, and Sabine looked more mature. So, that's interesting. I always thought, until recently, I always thought it took place after the Battle of Endor. But
well, yes, because that's how they kind of edited it, I guess you could say.
Because I think it said, Rex. I think there was, a line saying after the Battle of Endor, Zeb returned to different stuff. So that could be interesting. But maybe we'll see with that.
1 second. I'm trying to set up the lighting, because sometimes when something black appears, when the computer goes into sleep mode, that happens. So I'm trying to open image new tab. There we go. Now it's white, so it should be a little brighter on my face.
You know what's kind of funny is on the Star Wars announcements, They didn't talk about remember there was like rumors going around that Rian Johnson was gonna get a trilogy.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think it was like maybe. I think that like because Disney probably planned it out that he'll do Last Jedi, and depending on the reception of the Last Jedi,
and it did not go
they'll give
that way.
him the trilogy that he wanted. And then when a lot of people hated it and it was so divisive, and like the Star Wars fan base split over it, they were like, "Screw you, we're done with you." So I don't think he'll ever return to Star Wars. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I don't even think The Last Jedi is the worst sequel Star Wars film.
I think it's Rise of Skywalker because they just had to bring him Palpatine. I don't know.
Because I think with the Rise of Skywalker, it was a reactionary film because when you think about it, The Last Jedi was following everything that The Force Awakens set up. It's on documents that J.J. Abrams meant to have Rey be a nobody. It was in like there's interviews out there where J.J. Abrams says,
I think Rey being a nobody is just as dumb as Rey being.
Why would you say just?
I don't know, because then they're just like random. I don't know. Maybe they're. I feel
Well,
like there should have been a backstory instead of just saying nobody. Doesn't have to be someone that we know. Just someone, a person, not just nobody.
I think what I kind of liked about Rey being nobody is it made the Force feel grander, because I feel like what I love is like Anakin was a nobody.
I guess that's true.
Like
Obi-Wan,
for all we know, Obi-Wan was a nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
So, the only Jedi we know is a somebody is Luke. So for all we know, that's the minority of Jedis are a somebody. So I think to make the assumption that only the great Jedis have to come from some big family that's a Jedi is kind of false, because the greatest, the chosen one, is nothing more than a
well, that might not
slave.
necessarily be true, but because there is theories that he could have been created by Plagueis or Palpatine. Most people think Palpatine, but I think it's Plagueis.
And plus, everybody criticizes Rey for being stronger than Kylo Ren, which isn't really true, because when you think about Kylo Ren, they set up in The Force Awakens that Chewie's bowcaster is like crazy. You remember?
Yeah.
Chewie's bowcaster, it flung the stormtrooper. It destroyed the stormtroopers. But what Kylo Ren was dying during the fight with Rey. Remember, he's like doing the whole thing where he's like has his blood. So he almost defeated Rey dying from Chewie's blast. And their first fight, Rey lost. So I don't agree that like.
And also another thing is I don't think she's more powerful than him. I just think it's weird how they were kind of like speed running her becoming a Jedi.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I mean,
as Luke said, talent without training is nothing.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with Rey, we never really got to see if she what she would have become, because she never really fought someone to her level. Because when you think about it, she fought Kylo Ren, but it didn't really count because Kylo was dying. Kylo got shot. If the fight ended any later, he would have been dead because he was dying. His blood was gushing out. So that didn't really count. Then the next film, they weren't fighting any Jedi. They were just fighting Gamorrean guards. Or not Gamorrean guards, but Snoke's guards. So it wasn't even a fair fight, because a Force user against a non-Force user is nothing. So Rey can be a non-Force user. Then in the Rise of Skywalker, then they're saying that she's Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter, and if that's the case, well then maybe she's more powerful. But up until the point where they made Rey a Palpatine...
Also, did they ever specify anywhere in Star Wars that being in the family, someone with the Force makes it so, like, does your M count move down?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, I think the worst part about the midichlorians was it kind of demystified the Force.
Yes, that's what everyone says. We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this.
That's why I kind of hate it. And it was funny that they avoided saying midichlorians. Like, how can we keep this midichlorians thing?
Can't they just retcon it? I don't think anyone would really mind.
I think they do. And I think it's and by the way, they'll never, no matter how much backlash, they will never retcon the sequel trilogy.
I don't think they would do that. I'd
believe
want them to.
It doesn't matter how much the fans hate it. It doesn't matter. Disney is a company, and it made them, the sequel trilogy alone, made them all their money back. Because remember, they bought Lucasfilm for $14 billion. Right?
Mostly off toys, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but just that alone.
Not as much as Pokemon.
Well, yeah. But just that alone, $4 billion they made back with the films. Because think about it. Force Awakens made $2 billion. Last Jedi made $2 billion. So that alone recalibrated their money. Recalibrated their losses. And The Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion. And Rogue One made $1 billion. So that right there gives you $6 billion.
Out of all the Disney Star Wars movies, Rogue One is my favorite.
Yeah,
when it comes to Disney Star Wars in general, it is either Clone Wars Season 7 or Mandalorian.
Yeah, Clone Wars Season 7 was cool. But I think the best part of Clone Wars Season 7 was only the final 4 episodes.
Yeah.
The first kind of weird.
Bad Batch
was okay. It was okay.
That was okay.
And what did you think about the Bad Batch trailer?
Oh, that was cool. I didn't expect Fennec to be in that at
that
all.
Was cool.
I guess we're going to figure out how she's wanted by the ISB.
Yeah, because remember, there was like kind of that throwaway line that nobody thought anything about. They're like, oh, I'm wanted by the ISB. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then you see the trailer and you're like, Fennec's there.
Well, the trailer was first. So
well,
a lot of people, when she said that, I wasn't thinking about that, but when I watched some videos about...
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah.
It's
starting to and I think you start to see after where we are now, after seeing the finale of Mandalorian, after seeing the shows that were announced, after seeing the Bad Batch trailer, you kind of see how the interconnected universe of the shows are coming together.
Yeah.
Because Ahsoka connects to Bo-Katan, who connects now to probably Mandalorian Season 3, and Mando connects to Boba Fett, who connects to Fennec, who connects to Bad Batch, who connects to the Bad Batch, which connects to the Clone Wars, which Clone Wars connects to the prequels, which connects to the Skywalker Saga. So you can kind of see how each little thing connects to the grander Star Wars universe.
Yes. Do you think, here's a question for you, do you think they're setting up something bigger right now for like a second saga with all these shows, or they're just doing that as its own separate thing?
I think if they're setting up anything, I think they're setting up like a grand, like, you know how, like the Defenders of this universe, you know how there's like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Defenders was the culmination of all 4 of those seasons. That's kind of how it feels like, where maybe they'll do a show called, I don't know, Rangers of the New Republic?
Nah,
That's like a crossover of all
That's
the
not, no, Rangers of the New Republic will not be that. That's going to be,
kidding.
I'm basically 99% sure that's going to be Cara Dune.
Yeah, I definitely think. I think there's a chance
Mr.
that
Kim
Mayfair might be in it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
It's maybe.
Possible. But that was just on.
I think it'll be Cara Dune, maybe Grief Karga.
Which one's that?
Is
that the guy?
Yeah,
from
the guy. Remember the Mando's first friend?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was thinking it was that, but I don't remember really the names.
Maybe he'll be in it. I think maybe Mr. Kim.
So is this? Are they setting? I think what they're setting up is just to like. Because not that many people read the books, like the Aftermath or anything. So I guess what they're doing here is trying to get more people to understand what happened between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens.
I have a good question for you. So you know how Cobb Vanth, do you know who he is?
Yes, he's the guy
Marshal.
on, yeah.
Because he lives on Tatooine.
Yeah, he'll be in the Book of Boba Fett.
Do you think
99%?
Yeah, because I was thinking, why bring in Cobb Vanth, who seems like such an interesting character? Why bring him in for 1 episode and just be done with it? See, I think the whole idea for Mandalorian Season 2 was show the Mandalorian story, but be back. Do you know what a backdoor pilot is?
Yeah, it's when they do like a pilot kind of another show. They kind of did that with like the new Arrow reboot in the Arrow.
Yeah.
So not a reboot, but like with his daughter.
And Batwoman, the crossover was Batwoman, backdoor pilot.
No, that show was not good. That's
so,
I got.
Which kind of brings me to another interesting point. What's the timeline for the Batwoman? Because if Batwoman was in the crossover, then the Batwoman Season 1 took place
before.
Yeah, that's all. I don't give it. I don't.
Yeah,
let's
throw it in garbage fire.
Yeah, I honestly, Arrowverse should have just sticked with the main 3.
Arrowverse is awful.
Arrowverse became a failure.
Supergirl got canceled. I think.
It became a failure when it bridged off beyond the 3 shows.
They didn't skip a shark. They skipped the whole ocean.
Also,
not jump it. Not skip a shark. They didn't jump a shark. They jumped the whole ocean.
I hated how they handled Superman in those shows. Because, like, Superman's supposed to be, like, the granddaddy of Superman.
Instead, they're like, oh, look at Superman, but Supergirl, she's more powerful.
Yeah, the whole
better.
show with Superman is like, okay, let's just bring Superman in so he can lose to make Superwoman look good. Because, like, what's the one way to make Superwoman look cool? Well, how about beat a villain that just beat up Superman? See, Superman in every single movie, every single thing he's been in, before Supergirl, Superman truly was the ultimate superhero. The only thing that can stop him is kryptonite or some other godly force. And they stuck true to that. Man of Steel, the only thing that could defeat him was Zod. In the original Superman films, the only thing that could stop him was kryptonite. Or in the fourth film, you know the energy guy in the fourth.
I don't remember that one.
So I think they handled Superman very bad in those films. But let's get back to Star Wars. I don't know how we got off that.
It doesn't have to be just Star Wars.
Yeah,
it could be on other things.
So let's talk about MCU.
All right. Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet. There's so much Marvel stuff going on.
So they announced Secret Invasion, right?
Yeah.
They announced that Nick Fury and Talos was coming back. What are their odds? Over under 50%. Do you think 50% over 50% or under 50% that Captain Marvel shows up? Do you think Captain Marvel would show up?
That is very likely because one that mainly fits in with her story. They could set that up in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's
too.
what I thought was interesting. I think it'll be similar to
WandaVision,
except in
Multiverse of
reverse.
Madness, Spider-Man 3, but start with the movie and then go to the show.
Reverse, because in WandaVision
Also,
it starts with WandaVision.
One thing I thought was weird is how he said biggest crossover since Civil War. What about Endgame?
No, you missed a part. He said biggest, the biggest comic book crossover. He didn't say movie.
Oh! He wasn't talking about movies.
He said, like, because, like, in the comics, it was, like, every single Marvel character was in there, and it was, like, who's a Skrull, who's not. So, I think
Alright, the thing is, do you think the TV show is going to have a bunch of heroes in it? Is that going to be...
So, I think it'll be similar. I think it'll be, what's it called? Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion, Captain Marvel 2.
No, Captain Marvel 2. It's Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel 2, then Secret Invasion. That will be... And
Miss
also,
Marvel...
Spider-Man... No, not Spider-Man 3. That won't have anything to do with it.
You know what would be interesting?
But Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 end credit scene.
You know what would be interesting to see? The MCU, during the Infinity Saga, was so straightforward into each of these 22 films culminates to Endgame. But what's interesting about the MCU going forward is there seems to be two storylines going at once. There's the multiverse storyline, and then there's the Skrulls storyline.
And they can easily just end up becoming one storyline with time, space, and all that stuff.
Yeah, because when you think about it,
Multiverse.
Quantumania. Think about how crazy this would be. Mixing Quantumania with Skrulls with multiverse. Quantum multiverse. Well, it's kind of Quantumania and multiverse
So here are the kind of arcs we have in the MCU right now. We first have the Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, WandaVision arc. I guess that could be the multiverse arc. We have the Secret Invasion arc, which is the Captain Marvel movies and show with that. And then you have the Iron Man one with Ironheart and Armor Wars. And am I missing it? Oh, there's Hawkeye?
That's interesting. You know what? I think it is. I know what arc that is. It's the Black Widow, Falcon Winter Soldier, Hawkeye arc. Because
I don't know.
Because Black Widow's sister is going to be in all three.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
So I think they're set
the new Black Widow.
Yeah, they're setting up a bunch of different places. And similar to the MCU, they'll culminate to one thing. Because when you look at the MCU in the 22 films, they all connect to Thanos in the overarching Infinity Saga. Yeah, go.
One more thing. I think Thor and Love and Thunder will be its standalone thing. Yeah. Maybe multiverse. I don't think so. I think that will just be like a standalone. Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's another arc. Holiday special. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday special.
And
I'm Groot. What's it? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Thor. That'll be its own arc. So it's similar to the Infinity Saga where there's a bunch of arcs going in the Infinity Saga. in the Infinity Saga, there's the Civil War arc where the Avengers break up. Then there's the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor arc. And so, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see because overall, in the first 23 films, it's all about Infinity Saga, Infinity Saga, Infinity Saga, Infinity Saga, and that's what the story's about. But it's interesting to see what the story would look like if it wasn't if the Infinity Saga was not there and there were just a bunch of different mini story arcs. So, what was I going to say?
Alright, so we have to end it in a second.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
One last thing is, so it seems like for the arc with the Black Widow and stuff, I think that's like all those characters kind of fit together because that's like none of them really have superpowers, mystical powers or anything. They're just part of they're just like
okay.
That.
Wait, one more thing.
I guess.
I'm gonna ask you two questions. Out of all the announced MCU shows, which is the one you're looking forward to the most? And out of all of the MCU
Loki?
films, you're looking forward to the most?
Well, which one that's coming out soon?
No, just in general. Out of all
Secret
the ones
Wars and movie Thor: Love and Thunder. No, Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
For me, wait. Can I answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I'm looking forward to WandaVision the most because you don't really know anything about WandaVision. It's such in a different direction that I think it makes me interesting, and what's interesting is Wanda's.
I'm looking forward to everything. I just want to see everything.
Okay.
The one show I'm not in is like Hawkeye. I don't really care about that character.
There's a few I am Groot and Miss Marvel and.
But the thing is that'll
lead into Captain. See, that's what they're clever at.
It may not seem like something you'd be like, not that excited for, but then you're like, oh wait, I have to watch this because then I won't understand this thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like about that's kind of that's what's great about the MCU. They're kind of like, it doesn't matter if you're into it or not. You have to watch it because I'm someone who is so interested in the overarching story that even if it's something that I'm not looking forward to, I'm gonna watch. So for example, I might not be interested in What If. But What
If looks pretty cool.
Yeah, What If looks interesting. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Do you think that will have any effect, with the Watcher meeting, maybe normal Doctor Strange? Do you think that will have effect on Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness?
I think the Watcher will play a similar role to Dormammu. You know how Dormammu's kind of someone they talk so much about in Doctor Strange, and he's only in it for the third act.
Yeah.
Maybe the Watcher is because the Watcher seems such a important character because the Watcher is what truly bridges the gap between every single multiverse. Yeah, the one consistency.
So it could be he is which is coming out first, What If or Multiverse of Madness?
I'm gonna say What If probably comes out first.
So that could set up Watcher meeting Doctor Strange, and then in Doctor Strange. Also, is Spider-Man gonna be in Doctor Strange? Yes. Is that all right? So.
Well,
I knew Doctor Strange. I don't know. I think
Doctor Strange is in Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I don't know about Spider-Man being in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but that'll be interesting.
I guess they were kind of setting up something between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in Infinity War when they were on the ship and stuff.
I think the overarching story of this is just simply gonna be Avengers, versus. A multiverse of Skrulls.
Yeah.
And because I think they're definitely going in a direction where there's a bunch of mini stories going on, the stuff with Black Widow, the stuff with the Skrulls, stuff with multiverse. But I think they're all culminating to one big threat.
What was that? What did you just do?
I think it's this thing.
Okay,
so I guess next week we might do another podcast.
Yeah, I guess we can do these weekly, maybe multiple times a week. Anyway, if you enjoyed, subscribe and like.
Okay, let's do this.